me. See, I'm not trying to teach you anything. I'm trying to get you all to remember what you used to know and forgot by time. You always could do anything. We built the pit. We did all that. We're the gods, the original people. But it's time now for you to start being able to do things that God does. And that's a good example of it right now, what you said, instant manifestation. I just want to make sure the new people, like the brother and Decatur, when you tell them that you did see me move it, right? Once or twice?
I saw it twice.
Okay, but now when but you got to know how. When you tell them that you saw me move stars, you know how that's gonna sound, right?
Yeah, I know.
You see what I'm trying to say? That's why when you asked me earlier, why am I doing? What's the purpose of it? It's because I have to make people understand that it's possible for them to do anything, and just saying that is lip profession unless I prove to them that I can do something that they would otherwise describe as miraculous. Okay?
Right.
Right. And you realize that there's nothing I can do that you can't. You follow what I'm saying? So what it is that as the doors open up for me, I open them up for you all. I'm just walking ahead of you. Just pretend that we in a dark forest, and there's or in a dark tunnel, and there's light at the end of it. Now, for most people, it's going to be, that light is going to be an oncoming train, but for us, it's just going to be more light. I'm just asking you to trust me and let me lead you into the light. In the same way that sparrows have flocks, that when they land on a park, 1,000 of them, you can't distinguish the leader from any of them because they all look alike. They're just feeding. And the Most High takes care and provides for them all equally because you don't see any fat ones or skinny ones. They all look the same, all the sparrows. But when you make a big noise, they all take flight, and every one of them knows the leader because they form a formation like a V, and they all travel. They all know the leader. That don't mean that all of them know the way, but they all know who knows the way. Are you following me? That's what distinguishes me from charlatans, liars, and wolves in sheep's clothing and all that. Because, see, I don't care how much magic and goober dust you put down, your black or white ass ain't gonna move no stars, nigga. Now, I know that. Point seen, money gone. That's how you bring that lie to a screeching halt. There's nothing in creation got the power to give you the power to move stars except the creator of it. Trust what I tell you.
I'm just saying,
What's the significance of it?
Yeah.
Well, this planet has been purchased by beings quite a while ago that set up a project. These are called draconians or reptilians, and they're carnivores, they're flesh eaters. And these are the ones that grafted the Pleiadians from a mixture of Andromedans and some abducted disagreeable Anunnaki. And they created a very pasty white hybrid called the Pleiadians. But since they were all members of the Intergalactic Confederation, even the subjects that they grafted with, the Pleiadians are very intelligent and can travel intergalactically, etc., except that the bottom line is they were only and strictly a food source for these draconians. Now, they got tired of living in fear. Again, I have to say the same thing. They got tired, like anybody would. If you want an MEN-U, you would be trying to figure out a way heavier than Eli Whitney, tired of picking cotton and made a cotton gin, right? So they came to Earth, planted Blue Rock, and created the gin, or the Adamu, 6,000 years ago, the ruddy red atom that you see in the Bible. They grafted that, and they used as a genetic hanger the Homo erectus, Australopithecus, great apes, the lairs, the orangutans, etc. And they grafted that with their genes. And they created another white being that was a sweet, succulent-like pig that would boil and fall off the meat, a good, juicy thing. And they taught them to eat the kind of things that seasons the food the way they want it. And then they told them to go forth, be multiply, be fruitful and multiply, so that they could build herds of them, in other words, and have them ready for the harvest, which is now.
Understand this, Mr. Knight. I will harvest that planet tomorrow.
Now, the harvest should have already taken place because they're ready to claim ownership of the planet. But the 144,000, when the Bureau made its swing around in 2012, they knew that we had been damaged by the spell, but they didn't know that we were damaged quite that much, Darryl. So then they had to pull the master teacher, Panabab Yanun, up and download the Patarak, the actual facts into him, to give that to us, to take us to another level of awakening, to break the spell, because it was that thick, it was that dense, it was almost impenetrable, right? Now these beings are getting antsy and impatient and agitated, so the government made a deal with them that they could take 300,000 a day, as long as it wasn't Nagaru. That's why you never hear on TV anything but white people talking about they were abducted and they did things stole their eggs and semen and then they brought them back up and they saw a hybrid child that looked like she could see herself in the child, but the extraterrestrial, he could see himself in the child, but it was part extraterrestrial, and they called it mama or daddy or something. Okay, now they're involved in this project here. But what they want to do, and they have done, in fact, what they're running Capitol Hill, and they're called the tall whites. That's what they call them. They're like an average from 7 to 9 feet tall, pasty white, but they have the canine teeth, the draconians, real draconians. In fact, back when you had in Mecca, the great Magaraj, where people attend the Hajj every year, when they were trying to leave after it was over and going down through the long tunnel, they were greeted by a group of these tall whites, pasty whites, and they were so frightened that they turned back in and ran over each other, and hundreds of Muslims got killed out of fear trying to escape these oncoming reptilians that had the nerve to invade the Kaaba.
The stampede happened in the tent city of Mina, about 5 kilometers from the Muslim holy city of Mecca. Hundreds of thousands of pilgrims were taking part in the stoning of the devil, the last major rite of the Hajj pilgrimage. According to Al Arabiya, the stampede did not happen inside the area where pilgrims throw stones at pillars that represent the devil, but at the entrance of the Hamarat Bridge near Street 204. It was caused by a sudden surge of people around 9 a.m., which caused large numbers of pilgrims to fall and be trampled or suffocated. 4,000 rescue services personnel and 220 ambulances were sent to the scene.
And since they purchased the earth, what they're doing is that I guess the agreement is
that the 4 winds are being held back by our overlords until the 144,000 are sealed in their foreheads with that green signet ring that you all see in my forehead, that light, and the pictures. Peace. Now, if you really want to know, you have to read the Master Secret, authored by Panabab Yanun, the Black Dot Helix Mind Linked. That will give you conclusive, actual facts about why the stars are gone and it's black. In short, the mother womb of all is sucking all the light back into itself in order to prepare for a new birth, a new creation.
My understanding of it is, according to Panabab Yanun, is that as long as you're under the Mason and Dixon line, that they can't really protect you any longer. So I guess that they're taking over the earth in segments now. And the first is going to be from the Mason-Dixon line south, downward. And in fact, they are eating already. They are feeding. I know that. You can do computer search and you can see it yourself. They are feeding, the Draconians are feeding already. And they're getting more and more blatant, more and more open with it. So, it's lights out.